In Star Wars canon, we know very little about the origin of the Jedi and their order. In the High Republic period, we see the Jedi at the height of their power, protecting the galaxy in an era of peace and prosperity. In the prequel trilogy, we witness their tragic fall, as the Sith manipulate them into extinction. But what we've never seen in canon, is the true beginning, the dawn of the Jedi. One of the few glimpses of this ancient time, comes from the movie, The Last Jedi, where we see Luke Skywalker on Ahch-To, the site of the first Jedi Temple. Luke uncovers ancient texts and ruins, and we get hints of the Prime Jedi, a figure who had seemingly mastered the balance between light and darkness. Unless future stories take us directly to this ancient era, the only story that truly explores this time, comes from Star Wars Legends. Set over 35,000 years before the events of the films, this is the story of the Jedi, those who first sought to understand and harness the power of the Force, all while maintaining a delicate balance between the light and the dark. The history I will be covering in this video, comes directly from the first issue of the comic series, named Dawn of the Jedi. Our story starts roughly 35,000 years BBY, on the world of Ando Prime. For 1,000 years, the Dai Bendu attended a huge pyramid artifact which they called the Tho Yor. These monks knew that the Tho Yor was of extraterrestrial nature, but they were able to sense its mysterious aura. One fateful day, the Tho Yor finally called to them, inviting them aboard. Without hesitation, the Dai Bendu knew what they had to do. As an opening appeared out of nowhere, they entered the structure, and found out that it was a spaceship. Soon after, they departed their home planet. 7 other such structures across the galaxy repeated this process, on worlds such as Kashyyyk, Dathomir, Ryloth, Manayan, and Korriban. No one knew who built these ships or where they came from. But those who entered felt a pull, a destiny beyond their understanding. These 8 Tho Yor visited countless other planetary systems, and called upon Force-sensitive beings, gathering members of multiple civilizations across the galaxy. Their final destination was the planet Tython, located near the center of the galaxy, in the deep core. On this planet, the Force-sensitive individuals were able to sense the same mystical energy that called them to the Tho Yor, the Force. On the arrival day, the 8 pyramids scattered across different locations of the planet. The travelers were taken to their new homes and created settlements in these various locations. These people have now become Tythons. The Tythons soon realized that they had one purpose on this planet: to study and understand the Force. Observing the world they lived in, they understood the Force's duality. As Tython was extremely rich in the Force, its very climate reacted to imbalances, growing violent when the harmony was disrupted. As a result, the Tythons strived to maintain balance in the Force at all times, in order to maintain a peaceful world. Soon, they started calling themselves Jedi. A Dai Bendu term that meant mystic center. It was here that the seeds of what would become the Jedi Order were first planted. Unlike the Jedi of later generations, the Jedi sought to follow neither sides of the Force, but only to maintain balance. They meditated, trained, and learned the ways of the Force in harmony with the natural world around them. Over the millennium, the Jedi had built a great civilization, creating temples, cities, schools, each centered around a Tho Yor. Each Tho Yor housed a different school of thought, a different way of approaching the Force. Unfortunately, not all Jedi offsprings were born Force-sensitive. Those who lacked the connection to the Force were at the mercy of the planet, with the Jedi always there to protect them. It soon became clear that Tython was too dangerous for the non-Force-sensitive beings, so they left Tython, going first to the moons Ashla and Bogan. It was a time of great sorrow, as families were sundered, and loved ones were separated. Those who were born Force-sensitive away from the planet, were always brought back to Tython, to study the ways of the Force. Throughout the years, the entire Tython system was populated, with settlements on Kalamar, Shikakwa, Ska-Gora, and the remaining habitable planetary bodies of the system. The Jedi of Tython frequently intervened on the settled worlds when needed, but over the centuries, they became figures of legend, even feared by some. Some people grew to resent them, such as the Queen of Shikakwa, Despot of War, Hadiya, who united with crime barons of her planet, as her will alone became supreme. The queen and her army returned to Tython, and waged war on her ancestors. The army was great in numbers, but the Tythons had the Force as their ally. In the end, the despot army was defeated, and the queen was killed, but at the cost of many Jedi lives. As the wounds healed, 12 years passed, and yet another threat to Tython was looming: the threat of Rakata. The Rakata was an intelligent race of amphibian-like bipeds, whose infinite empire dominated the galaxy for millennia by enslaving entire civilizations with their dark mastery of the Force. The Infinite Empire was explored in the Knights of the Old Republic video game, and multiple comics, which I will cover in a future video. The arrival of the Rakata sparked a great conflict. In the time that followed, the Jedi became divided and struggled to maintain their balance. Some fell deeper into the dark side, while others sought refuge in the light. What followed would be known as the Force Wars, conflicts that would change the course of galactic history forever. The Force Wars shattered the peace of Tython. The Jedi, once a unified people, were torn apart. The balance they had fought so hard to maintain for millennia was lost. Those who survived the wars would go on to form the foundation of the Jedi, leaving behind the idea of balance and embracing the light side of the Force. The lessons of the Jedi would echo through the centuries, but their path would ultimately be lost to time. And with that, I want to thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this dive into the origin story of the Jedi, make sure to like and subscribe for more deep lore content. Have an awesome day.